Do I need to be in like Facebook or anything?
No, that's cool. I've got it open on my side, so
Okay.
hopefully they should be seen as now. I hope. I don't know if they will. This is that thing I was telling you about that people have no idea.
It says live on Facebook. That's cool.
Awesome. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, we are here. So I'm going to switch this on so I can see us and people's comments and stuff. Which would be good.
The two tech guys going, "Oh, it's working, great."
Oh yeah, it's so bad. I can remember doing one ages ago, and everyone literally could not stop laughing for about 5 minutes. Me and Tim were trying to figure out how to get it to work. So they're all used to me chatting like this for the first 5 minutes and not really quite know what's going on. Which is always
the intro.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's just open the comments up on this, and then hopefully we should be good to go. Let's click on this one. I think we're off then.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah. There we go. I've just muted it. It's awesome. I don't know what's going on. I can hear myself now. Yeah.
Oh Christ, I can't play that.
All right, let's just open this. And then hopefully. There we go. Just like you said, the tech guys have no idea what we're doing.
That was really nightmare, yeah. It started like repeating itself back at me. I'm like, who's that? It's me.
The two northern British accents.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I know a few of you here already, which is awesome. Again, we've been doing lots of these lives recently. We've been talking to industry experts, and also we've been talking to you guys as well to see how you're getting on in the online training world. So Dan's kindly agreed to join us today. He's obviously on Thai time, so it's quite late where he is. So thank you very much for joining us, Dan. That's great. I'm gonna, if it's cool, it should be for around 45 minutes-ish, depending on how many questions people have got. So I'll try not to keep you too late, if that's okay.
I'm a late sleeper. So.
Oh, cool. We'll be here for hours in that case. Yeah. Hours and hours.
I put the kids to bed, and then I do my work. Wake up, do all my work while they do the morning things, and then we spend the day together, and that's kind of how we roll. So,
that's cool.
This is literally work time, so I don't feel guilty.
Oh, awesome. Happy days. Makes life easier. I can't know how you feel, but I tend to work on EST time quite a lot. So this is quite early for my work day, to be honest with you. Cool. Okay, guys, if you're listening as well, if you've got any questions whatsoever for Dan, I'm going to let him introduce himself in a second, talk a bit about what he currently does, and we'll talk a bit about his past as well and how he got to where he is now. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please do drop them into the comments, and we'll do our best to try and answer them as we work our way through. So first of all, do you want to give us a quick introduction? Dan, just tell us who you are and what it is you currently do.
Yeah, I hate this part. You have to talk about yourself.
Yeah.
I run a few companies actually, so some outside of the fitness industry as well. But the main one in the fitness industry is my personal trainer website, which is website design, SEO, and branding personal trainers. And then I also run the Institute of Personal Trainers, which I think is the largest free business resource for PTs, like little courses, resources, tools, things like that. It's basically just a collection of everything that I've kind of saved up and then documented while I was running my own PT business, and then helping PTs run their businesses too. I also run a drop shipping business, which was purely like a hobby, like it's a bit of an SEO thing, because I like playing SEO and the numbers and stuff. So, and that's selling ginseng, like Panax ginseng, from South Korea to the West. So basically, all I do is I created a website. I learned everything there was to learn about ginseng, read all the studies, examine.com, went crazy on the studies, and reinterpreted them all. I wrote the biggest guide on ginseng there is. Now that ranks at the top of search engines. So I connected with this company in South Korea who make ginseng. It's like a 6-year growing process. And basically said, if I send people your way, will you send them some ginseng? And they did that, and now I get paid for it. So it's really cool.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
So it's funny. It's just like an SEO project, but it ended up kind of like making some money. So it's quite nice. Not a lot. It's like maybe it just broke a couple of months ago. It broke like $1,000 a month.
All right.
Not loads, but I mean, it's
not bad. Not bad for a hobby, and you don't have to do a huge amount of work for it. I suppose if it's drop shipping, it's not you have to stock anything or hold anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The work was like just in writing the guides more than anything.
Cool. You mentioned there about the IPT and how you kind of documented all the stuff you learned, from being a PT and stuff like that. So, your career started off as a personal trainer. Is that right?
No, I started off in the army. So,
okay.
Yeah, I was a Royal Engineer, so blew stuff up. And then, and then I went to my unit at Maidstone in Kent, so 3/6 Maidstone. And it was really boring, so really boring. So, and I remember actually it was quite a defining moment. I was a really skinny guy then, I was really fast at running. And I remember being at the back of the store and someone walking in and saying, where's Salcumbe? And the guy, because I was new, was like, who's Salcumbe? He's like, it's a new guy, the skinny one. And I don't know why, that just like triggered something. I just went to the gym that night and then never stopped. So I got super interested in fitness and then decided to leave the army to pursue that, because I couldn't do it while I was in the army, because I'd already spent a lot of money training me to be an air conditioner and refrigeration engineer. So I left, got a job in a hospital first of all, and I got a job in a gym. They, as part of what's it called, an apprenticeship, as part of an apprenticeship, they got me my level 3 PT course. I worked there for a while and then worked my way up to owning my own business, left the gym, ended up hiring an employee and kind of worked up the ranks all while kind of building my personal trainer website at the same time. So it was all kind of like a big mishmash, you know, like just one thing after the other.
So when you kind of, as you sort of went through that kind of journey of going from the army and then becoming a PT and doing your level 3 and stuff, obviously you mentioned that you kind of like mishmashed it together with the website side of stuff, but you employ people. When you actually went through that stuff as a PT, what kind of stuff did you learn from that? Because obviously you put a lot of this information into the IPT, which kind of tells me that you probably did it. It sounded when you described it then that it was quite a short period of time, but obviously I'm guessing there's more to it. So what kind of stuff did you pick from that? What kind of things did you learn from that?
Yeah, it was, well, it didn't feel short at the time, you know, because you're always trying to you're always like chasing this freedom, aren't you? So, and I think a lot of other personal trainers are chasing that all the time too. I'm chasing this freedom all the time, and I'm trying to get the whole self-employed thing. Like that was a big thing for me, like working for myself. And I'm also trying to build up my personal trainer website at the same time. So I think it was, I can't remember the exact time frames, but it must have been about 2 years working in the gym in total, so, which gave me loads and loads of experience, sort of like figuring out how to sell stuff to people. And I'm really, I think I'd be described as like an introvert. Don't really like to label it like that, but like I'm not really like massively out there or anything. So I had to come up with ways to try and sell to people without that really awkward sales conversation. And I finally figured out that people will kind of just sell themselves. Like instead of, I was trying to chase people to try and sell them personal training, when I figured out, actually, you don't need to chase people. If you find people who are already looking for personal training and just position yourself in front of them, there's no sales conversation needed. So I did a lot of that. So I figured out how to do that. And I already knew how to build websites on it, and I kind of was getting a grasp of SEO at the time. And that's why SEO appealed to me so much, because with SEO, when someone lands on your website because they've gone via a search engine, they're searching with intent, which means they're searching for a person. Like I was in Harrogate, so they're searching personal trainer Harrogate, which means they've already got high intent. So the sale was really easy. And I figured you don't actually have to do that much. Your website just has to not look like crap, because otherwise that kind of ruins it a little bit. Like it ruins the reputation, doesn't it? That first impression. And then you have to just show all the things that people want to see. So I did loads and loads of like user experience stuff, like loads of courses on the way people think online, all that kind of stuff. And then other trainers started asking me to do the same thing for them that I was doing for my website. I was like, well, I can build websites, and I'm learning quite a lot about SEO. So I started doing that, and then it kind of just got serious. So it's like, I'm doing this now. So,
this is my new job.
Yeah. So I'm a web designer now. So, and then I was building my own PT company at the time, building my personal trainer website like on an evening, on a night time. So I was working like crazy hours, and all the while trying to sort of like learning about like, you know, what people do, like learning about how to be happy and how to find that kind of like that sweet spot of stability and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been fun so far.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I can very much relate to that kind of process of that kind of accidentally falling into a new job.
Like I think I kind of saw that happen with you.
Yeah, it didn't really mean to happen. It just kind of happened. And you're just like, okay. Still trying to run 2 businesses. Or Again, like I've got multiple businesses, it's quite hard to balance them all.
Yeah. Well, that's the magic, I think, isn't it? Like everyone's trying to chase a niche all the time. And always saying I need a niche, and everyone's like, I'm going to pick the businessmen because businessmen make lots of money and therefore they'll be an easy sell. It's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. The best niche is when you just get really passionate about something. Like you just fall down this weird rabbit hole. You get really passionate about it. You figure, wow, I'm actually really good at this and I really enjoy doing it. And then you start making money from it, and now you have a niche. So, but a lot of people kind of think they have to manufacture the niche, and then people will start coming to them. But I don't think it ever works like that. Like all these courses saying, get your niche first, and then you can deliver your marketing messages. I'm more like, well, if you try and get your niche first, and you're trying to deliver this really strong marketing message to obtain more clients, well, that's fair enough. I mean, it does work, and it works to an extent, but it doesn't work if you're not already in the right mindset, and that mindset is one of like value and passion, which is something that's cultivated over time. So when people ask me, especially new trainers, if they ask should I get a niche, I was like, yeah, like just take your time with it. Like, are you really passionate about training someone right now? It's like, no, well, not really. I'm like, well, train everybody. Like if someone walks through the door and you wanted to train like 40-year-old businessmen because they've got lots of money, and a 21-year-old girl comes in because she wants a flat tummy, you can't say, sorry, I can't train you because I only train 40-year-old businessman. Like, take the money. Like, money is oxygen to a business. Take the experience. Like, take it all. You get all this experience, and then then the passions, and when you've got the money and you've got the financial stability, the pressure is off, and then the passion can come.
Yeah, I definitely would 100% agree with that. I think to be able to, I think the more you start working with different people, the more you kind of, like I say, accidentally kind of fall into that niche anyway. You find things that you're passionate about. And as much as it's probably not the best word for it, and I'm not really that inclined, that you almost kind of attract the things that you really want, don't you? In terms of like, if you're really passionate about something, the stuff you put out there, the stuff you'll do, you will generally start attracting those kind of people because you're putting yourself out there because that's what you like and that's what you're passionate about. So you think over the past like few years, and probably more than that now, you've kind of become the go-to guy for PT websites. Now I know we talked a bit about this because you're passionate about it, you do love that, but why do you really think that is? Why do you think, if anyone ever says anywhere now, in any of the groups you see online, for example, on the Facebook, they talk about websites, your name just pops up like that all the time. What do you think has kind of led to that?
I think it's also because I keep popping up.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Dan.
So I still do that even now. Like, everyone's like, oh, you should play it cool and let them come to you. I'm like, no, this is fun. Like, this is a question that I want to talk about. So, like, I'm out here in Thailand. I don't speak English very much. So, like, all my friends are everyone online. So, I'm not sure. I think it's maybe just being like reasonably honest and relatable. So, because I don't try and sell websites. Like I said, I don't do the whole like hard sales thing. And I know that does work for some companies and it works in some instances. And there are some trails. There's some trails of thought which kind of make it sound like it's okay. But to me, hard sales have just never worked, and I can't bring myself to push someone into doing something. Because I think if they're pushing, the motivation and the energy just isn't there. And then obviously the flip side of that is, well, you're pushing them into doing something that's better for them. And you can go back and forth all day, but for me, I'm just not comfortable doing it. So I wasn't comfortable doing it with PT stuff, and I'm not comfortable doing it with web design stuff. So all I do is I make myself I position myself in front of people who are ready to buy already. So. And I do the same thing that I recommend other PTs do with a website. Like you appeal to the 4 C's, which is competence, which is, can you do what you say you can do? So for me, that would be portfolios, and for personal trainers, that would be before and after pictures. Convenience, is it easy to do? So I show that the process is very, very easy on the website. We take care of everything for you. For a personal trainer, that would be, it's really easy to sign up if it's online training specifically, and if it's for face-to-face training, what's the location like? Is it easy to park? All that kind of stuff. Cost is third. So this is a hierarchy actually. So we're going in order here. So cost isn't always first. Can they see the prices? I always show them prices. I know exactly what I'm worth, and I don't want to try and sell someone higher just because they make more money or they show higher interest or anything like that. Like, this is what the product's worth. This is how much I need to make in order to make a return on the investment in time and paying Esther. Hey, it looks like Esther's watching here.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah. So I work out all of these things and say, this is how much we need to make for everything to go in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is character. So are you relatable? This is the one that I struggle with most, because I'm one of those people that assume that nobody wants to know what I'm talking about. So my about page wasn't even about me for quite a while. Like I didn't even have me on there, but then I finally kind of put a bit about me on there, put a bit about Esther on there. We're a small team, all that kind of stuff. So, and that seems to work. So those 4 C's, I think, are the reason why people come to me, and it's also what I preach to people in order to get other people to come to them.
Is that the kind of process you try and go through with your clients then, when they sign up to the website? So kind of go through this kind of 4 C's process?
Yeah, we try to get all that information from them. So when we, Lisa just signed up as well. Hello, Lisa.
Yeah, she's there. Hey, Lisa.
So when, and Lisa's a client, so she'll tell you this through. So what we do is we have loads of questionnaires which basically try and extract this information from you. Mm-hmm. So there's we try and get the 4 C's, and it's basically trying to put everything that the personal trainer wants on the website within that framework, if you like, and then we're trying to put it in all the places that the user, the website visitor, would expect to see them. Mm-hmm. So it's a compromise. Like it's a compromise all the way through, because I've got things that I know work, like, and not just that I think work because I've seen them work, but because I do a lot of user experience research, because I also SEO for some really big companies. So I've got things that I know work. The trainer has things that they really want to see, and I want them to have those things as well. But then we've also got things that I know that the website visitor needs to see before they make the decision to go from website visitor to lead, which is usually like to fill in a form or ring the telephone. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really, we try to get all those things and then position them on the layouts that we've created. So we've been creating layouts over like the last 8 years. We've been trying and testing all of those layouts, and we've got probably 24 of them that work really, really well. So we try and put all of those layouts together on the site, mix it all together, and it all kind of works nicely.
Nice. Lisa's just saying that it's, the process is seamless. That's like the way you do it now. So you must have it pretty. Yeah. Woo. That's a nice one, isn't it? You must have it like dialed down to perfection. Cool. So kind of on the same track of that. I mean, recently Tim Say put out a blog post, which was all about kind of business mentors in the industry, and you was included in that list. And as much as I'm not like following you around on Facebook, but I did see you post that out there. You said apparently I'm a business mentor. So I need to ask the question: how do you feel about that? Would you class yourself as a business mentor in stuff you do and how you help your clients currently, or how do you feel?
The post was a little bit satirical, but I would be a bit of a hypocrite if I said I'm not a mentor, because what it is that for me, and this is me personally, I wouldn't pay for a mentor, so I would never pay for one. So, and that's not because I don't think they're worth the money or anything like that, and I think they're really, really valuable to some people. It's just that I love the process of just not knowing something, going to figure it out all on my own, making tons and tons of mistakes, and then finally getting it. Like that for me is pretty much what I do like all day, especially with SEO stuff. It's like I've just got to figure out what this puzzle is. I've got to figure out what's going on. You figure out what's going on, you get the result at the end, and then that's the fun for me. So for me for someone to pay me money to kind of tell them what to do, like it doesn't sort of like gel with my way of thinking. So someone could pay me money and I could say, all right, you've got a problem, go figure it out. But I mean, that's not really worth the money, is it? So, but with that said, I think the best mentors are the people who are kind of already around you, already kind of doing bits and bobs, and they might have succeeded in things that you've succeeded in, and they're just willing to talk to you, or you don't even have to talk to them. I mean, I never would say that someone's like an actual mentor to me, but I watch everybody. I watch you, I watch Tim, I watch people like Jonathan Goodman, I might watch all of the other mentors that are floating around Facebook, and I'm watching everybody. I'm kind of taking little bits and pieces of advice for everyone, and they're all kind of mentoring me without realizing it. I'm not handing them over any money. They're just kind of giving me all these extra insights, and that to me is probably the best kind of mentoring. You know, like it's free. So if you was to call me a coach, I would say no. Like, I'm definitely not a coach. So I coach you through a website design process or an SEO process. That's absolutely fine, which is kind of like teaching, and I do quite a lot of that. But I don't ask for any extra money for it. We have our web design fees, and if someone comes to me with a question, literally about anything, like we talk about all kinds of things, even like all the way through to like connecting the PT business with quality of life and happiness and stuff like that. Like, I talk to people about stuff like that all day long. But I would never charge them any extra money for it. I wouldn't say, oh, sorry, we've gone over your time limit for this month. Like, this is the fee that you pay for the website design service, and for us to manage everything for you. You got any emails in the meantime, I'm emailing you back because I want to email you back. Like, I want to be a nice person. I don't think my time is so valuable that I can't afford you an email. Like, it's just like, be a nice guy, you know. So yeah, I think I'm definitely not a coach. I'm not a paid for coach in any way. But I imagine I could be, without tooting my own horn. I imagine I could be like some people's like mentoring directly. Yeah,
that's cool.
That kind of don't want any money for it.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads on nice. The next thing about saying kind of not want any money for it and stuff like that. One of the things you've done over the past few years, at least, is like you mentioned earlier at the start, you've pretty much built what I think as well is the largest free resource for personal trainers in the world. I mean, it's a huge resource, the IPT, Institute of Personal Trainers. So what is that to start off with in a nutshell? What is that roughly, the IPT? I know you mentioned it a bit earlier.
I guess I market it. The main title on the homepage is we help personal trainers build successful businesses. So what I'm trying to do with that is I'm trying to take all the information that I have access to, and that is quite a lot, because we have we've done 450 plus websites, and then we've got then I've got all of my other SEO clients, which are sort of like big, maybe like $1,000 plus per month clients, and then I've got the other businesses that I work on, and then I've got also the things that in my personal life, like for example, building houses, buying land, all that kind of stuff. So I have all this experience, all the experience of the personal trainers that I work with. And to me, it would just be a waste to not do something with all of that. So like I started like documenting all the things that I was doing. Like, these are all my personal trainer documents and stuff like that. And it started with just for my PT website clients. And then it was all actually hosted at one point on the My Personal Trainer website. So everything was actually on there. And then I was trying to figure out if the Institute of Personal Trainers was a successful directory for personal trainers. So I had 2,400 trainers paying me $5 per month for that. I'm not even sure how much money that is. Like, it's quite a bit. Yeah. So, and that was mainly for them to have the directory, increased exposure, all that kind of stuff. But then what happened was Google decided to, offer less attention to directories when someone made a search. So if someone searched for personal trainer Harrogate, when my directory would have been at the top of search results before, it stopped being at the top of search results. So now all of these people are paying me $5 per month for something that isn't working. So I said, sorry guys, this isn't working anymore. And I spent a long time trying to figure out a way to make it work, but ultimately this directory listing isn't going to do anything for you. So I refunded like the last few months for loads and loads of people, sent out loads and loads of emails. And I kid you not, even to this day, I have people that I keep reminding paying me $5 a month, because $5 a month to some people is so inconsequential that they can't be bothered to go into the PayPal
and cancel it.
And I've sent them like, it must be 10 emails by now, and they're still paying me. And I'm like, okay. So I like cancel loads of them and all sorts. So yeah, they were just paying me for ages. So I ended up having to go into them all and cancel every single one. So it was an absolute nightmare. So, I didn't know what to do with the IPT for a while, and I had a bit of a switch around, and I tried several different things, and then I had all this information on My Personal Trainer website, which was originally just to help with the website design clients and give them like some extra information. And then I moved it all onto the Institute of Personal Trainers, gave it a little bit of a framework So like what to do if you're getting started, like how to become a trainer, how to become an online trainer, your starting steps. And then I think we work on like money and finance, so teach the basics of, you know, assets and liabilities, that kind of stuff. And then there's some marketing stuff in there as well, like how to become a better writer, social media marketing. There's some NLP stuff in there. So because I think I'm still NLP qualified. Does that run out?
No idea. Probably. Yeah. Everything seems to run out if they can sell it.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So, but I mean, NLP is not really that great, but it's like a good tool it's like a good start tool if you're interested in the psychology of training and stuff, and the psychology of what motivates people. So, other than that, it's a bit crap. But I mean, a lot of people, if you want to learn about it, I mean, it's all there. Like it's a full course and everything. So I just put it all together, and then everyone kept saying like you can charge for this, but I was kind of like, well, like I'm not, like information's free, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like there's so much of it. It's grass basically. Like there's just so much information. I was like, well, I don't really want to charge for that.
Yeah.
So in the future, I might charge for systems and support, because that's what people pay for. This is what I tell people when they're trying to create like an online product. Everyone's like, I'm going to create this workout and then I'm going to sell it for $19. I'm like, okay, well,
have fun.
Probably won't sell.
Yeah.
because there's just so many free workouts out there. Like you'd have to sell either a system which was within the workout, like this is a proven system, like these 10 guys here have done this, and look at their results, and then someone might buy that $19 product. But even then, it's still quite a hard sell, because someone can still get so many free workouts from very, very reputable trainers for absolutely no cost whatsoever. So what we do is I try to sort of like convince people away from selling the information, and obviously I would be a hypocrite if I was to do the same thing.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So I just don't do it yet. I'll sell later on when I come up with a system, which is kind of like, it's kind of systemized already, but it needs to be like really honed in, like step by step a little bit more. And then obviously the support that comes with that would be worth selling. But at the moment we just built this house. I'm trying to sell my old house, and then I'm trying to invest in down in southern Thailand as well at the same time.
Right.
So we're kind of messing around with that.
Yeah, imagine it's quite a lot of work to get all that done, and try and systemize the IPT as well.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I don't like have a hard life or anything.
Cool. So obviously we've talked a little bit about SEO as well, and obviously we've kind of established that you've got a big passion for SEO and what happens with it. So it'd be cool just to discuss that a bit more. And I'm sure a lot of people on here, because I do get asked quite a lot with my clients, especially about the SEO side of stuff, and what are the best things they can do, and what exactly is SEO, and all that kind of stuff. So I've actually pulled some of the questions together that I get asked quite a lot. It'd be cool for someone like yourself if you could maybe try and answer them and help people out with that. So in a nutshell, what is SEO? That's probably the best way to start.
Search engine optimization. So optimizing your website for search engines. And that basically means that search engines like Google want to see certain things in certain places in order for it to rank the website high up in search results. So all you're trying to do is you're trying to appeal to what Google needs to see in order to rank your website. And Google is trying to show the best results to the person making the search. So when someone makes a search, personal trainer Harrogate, it's Google's job to show them the best result possible and try and answer those questions. If they can answer those questions, then Google can charge people for ads. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much how the whole system works. Wow. So when you're trying to optimize your website, there's loads of factors, like there's thousands of different factors within the Google algorithm that dictates whether your site, how far up the search results your site appears. But you've got some on-site factors, which are quite easy to do. There's some location-specific factors, like a Google My Business page, which is quite important and free to do. We literally just wrote a blog about that on the My Personal Trainer website blog. It's the latest blog. Like, it's really easy. It's so simple. It's my favorite thing of all because it's free. It's really, really easy to do. And you just got to get a few reviews from your clients, make a really comprehensive Google My Business page, and then it will help your website rank at the top of search. Like, so easy. And then
I'll post that in the comments if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it. Cool. And then there's offsite factors. So the offsite factors are a little bit more complex. So you're trying to Google uses links from other websites to your websites. It's called a backlink. In order to decide how popular your site is. So typically you wouldn't link to my website unless you thought my website was worth linking to, would you? Yeah. So Google capitalizes on that and has the users rank websites for them by counting the links that everybody would add to their own website to an individual website. So if you say you've got your personal trainer website here, and you've got 10 websites that are all local to you and they're all linking to you for whatever reason, they're all backlinks. And if these websites are also reputable, that will help your website climb up the search results, because it's like a voting system. It's literally a popularity contest. So a good SEO, although some people would argue that these things should happen naturally, what a good SEO does is link outreach. You reach out to these people. So rather than sat waiting for them to all like connect with you, you go and reach out to people and you say, how about I write a blog for your website, and all I want in that is an author bio at the bottom with a link to my website. That's it. Like, that's enough. That's a link back from their website to your website. You get more links, you rank higher in search results, and that's it.
That's make it sound so simple.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other factors, but I mean, for the average personal trainer, I just wouldn't mess around with it. Like, I just wouldn't play around with it too much. Like, you can just go down this really big rabbit hole, and if you do, and it's because you're interested, like, go for it, because it can be loads of fun. But if you're just doing it for the sole purpose of trying to build your PT business, that's all you need to know. Google my business page, get loads of local directories listed. So list your business on loads of local directories and get local links if you can. So links from other local businesses. And then for offsite SEO, non-local SEO, which we call organic SEO, link building, like just create relationships with other businesses and try and get your link from their website to yours. And it's also okay to be reciprocal too. Like, you can link from your website to theirs, but don't do it on one of those crappy partners pages. Like, do it in a blog or something like that.
Something decent with it.
Make it natural, basically. Make it natural.
Cool. Awesome. I can answer one of the questions I was going to ask anyway about what your kind of top actionable tips are, but I think that's perfect what you said there. Awesome.
Also, just to expand on that, because I know a lot of your listeners are all online trainers. Even if you're an online trainer, it's a good idea to list your business in a local directory and have a Google My Business page. That it's really tempting, and every personal trainer seems to think, well, as soon as I go online, my audience is the whole planet, which is great, and it kind of is. But now you're this tiny little fish in this huge pond, and it's really, really difficult for people to see you. The best place to get your online training clients is within your existing audience. And if your existing audience is local, there are loads. I bet anybody listening to this, I bet their town is big enough that there will be so many online training leads ready to work with you, and you're out in this big massive ocean trying to pick people off with your Facebook ads when there's loads of people that are already local to you. And remember, every single online training client that belongs to a personal trainer is still local to another personal trainer anyway. So that local personal trainer might as well be you, hadn't it? You might as well be a local personal trainer, and then if you want to gradually move your business offline, you can do that with your existing local clients, and then even expand to other local clients within your area. Like, it's the local area just makes you a big fish in a smaller pond, basically. So you're reversing it around.
It's so true, though. I mean, this is obviously a bit different from online personal training, but like, I did exactly the same thing. My online training background started as a gym in a studio, and it was like kind of a bolt-on for hybrid after there. So that kind of stuff already happened. But you talk about that listing stuff locally, you never know who's local. I have actually quite a few clients who are local. I literally have a guy who was in the office next to us once, who was an online trainer, literally like 10 minutes down the road. I've got someone who lives like literally about probably half an hour down the road, one of my clients again. But these literally PTD user online trainers who literally live next door pretty much to us. Even some of them I meet, like, we literally go for a Costa coffee instead of having calls like this, which is awesome. So I actually get to speak to people in person more than actually online. But you kind of forget how having something like that is such a simple way to do it. And like you say, how you'd be surprised how many people are local to you there is that do that kind of stuff. Cool. I mean, one of the questions I get asked a lot by some traders anyway, when I talk about like this kind of stuff, is the competition in the fitness space. And some of them have been told that SEO is probably not as important as it used to be, because you're competing against, you know, the likes of Slimming World and Weight Watchers and Herbalife and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think you kind of covered it a little bit in some of the stuff you said already, but what would you say to that? How you'd be responsive if someone said that to you?
I'd say it's a tool. So it's not, I wouldn't say for everyone, like you should be SEOing. You just don't need to. So it's great for some businesses and it's just not so great for others. So I would say there are a few free things that you can do, like setting up your Google My Business page, getting some local directories, because it's like 2 minutes per directory. You get 10 of those. You've already got loads of link backs. Get some reviews on there, and that's going to help you either way, whether you decide to pursue SEO even more or not. But it's a tool. Like, it's the same as a website. It's just a tool that accompanies your website. If you invest some time in it, it's going to work. And if you want to pay someone to do it, do so, but do it with spare income. Like, don't use it as your main marketing strategy, because SEO is a long game. Like, it can take up to 6 months to rank a website sometimes at the top search results. So it's a long game. So if you're at the stage of business, which is like, I get trainers coming to me inquiring about SEO, and a lot of the time they're just not at that stage. I'll say, right now you need clients. Like, you need clients coming through the door. So you need to go speak to someone who can put your business in front of a lot of people and try and pick some of those people in order to work with you. You know, like Facebook ads and things like that. Like, if you've got the money right now, that would be where to go, because you need to get recurring clients through the door. So it's a long game. Not everyone needs to do it, and if you kind of enjoy it a little bit, and like go crazy with it. But if you don't, like, don't do it. So if it's boring to you and it's just not something you're interested in at all, either don't do it, or when you can, just pay someone else to do it. Like, that's what I do with everything. Like, everything that I enjoy doing, I do myself. Everything that I don't enjoy doing but needs to be done or can be done because I have the spare money to do so, I outsource. And that's it. Like, the trick is, and I've written this somewhere, I can't remember where, maybe in the Institute of Personal Trainers, is get so good at what you love doing that you can outsource all the things that you don't. And that's it.
100% agree with that. It's definitely the way forward. It really is. And obviously never at the expense of, like you say, the money and stuff that you need. But if you've got the money, outsourcing is by far the way forward.
I outsource all the boring stuff. Like, it's boring. And like, I used to do it because I was wearing all the business hats, but then I expanded, and everyone kind of thinks that as you expand, you get better at each individual hat that you're wearing. You get better at marketing, and then you get better at accounts, and then you get better at your web design, and you get better at your sales and stuff. It's not that. Businesses grow not because they get better at all those things, even though they might do. It's because they start outsourcing those things, buying their time back, and then they spend more time on the thing that they're passionate about. And that passion comes through in the way that they talk to people. Like, you talk to me about SEO, and then you can't really get a word in edgeways because I keep on going. Because it's fun for me. So I don't talk to people very often. I'll lose my voice by the end of this, actually. So
I talk about SEO so much.
It's how little I talk to other people. I don't speak very much. So a lot of listening.
There we go. People can hang on. People have been on here for 2 hours before listening to me talk a load of rubbish sometimes. Not that this is, but yeah, I do definitely 1% agree on that. I've always been a big believer in, like, the more you grow, the more you can delegate. And I also think as well that I've always tried this idea that try not to be the smartest person in the room, and then surround yourself by people that know more than you, and then let them do the stuff they're really good at. And then that's always seems to work well for me anyway. Cool. So we chatted quite a bit there about SEO. Obviously, you're pretty much kind of a designer as well. I mean, you mentioned there about you've been designing your new home that you live in now, which is awesome, by the way. And so obviously you must like design, and obviously you design websites and things like that. Ish, maybe like it a little bit. And obviously,
I like making things look pretty. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So obviously, you must enjoy coming up with new designs for your clients. But how much of a part does that play? Yeah, I see a lot of. So I get to see a lot of websites that get sent through to me when I'm doing integrations and stuff like that for PT Distinction, and some look amazing. Someone else needs to deal with, like yourselves. I can just send you the details and it's done. And others don't look that attractive. And I try and give bits of advice in, maybe you should go and have a look at this or do whatever, but it's definitely not my forte at all. And I normally try and recommend either come and see yourself or whoever. But how much of a part does that play, the actual design side of the website? How much does it play in terms of getting visitors to leads or visitors into paying clients?
I hate it depends, but it does depend. So all of the user experience research, so the Nielsen Norman Group, so that's a big company that does a lot of user experience research. They seem to suggest that the biggest credibility factor for your website is the design. So, and that means like in terms of first impression. I know it is a little bit for me, but I imagine also that's because I'm a bit of a stickler for design. Like if I land on a crappy looking website, probably because I'm biased, I'm like it doesn't give like a good feel, where if it's well designed it is. But for some people, they're just not that way inclined. They're just not as bothered about design. In that case, like crack on, it doesn't matter too much. But in general, most people like things that look prettier. So I'd say it is quite important. But the caveat to that is how they found your website. So if someone found your website from Google already kind of endorses you by listing you high up in search results. So people might pay you a little bit more attention. If they found you via Facebook, because Facebook's just a big mishmash of everything, and there's no real like massive amounts of credibility anywhere, unless you speak to them like personally. If they just find you via your Facebook page and your website looks like crap, the credibility is going to be low. However, if they've just spoken to you and they got on really, really well, and they go on your website, if it looks like crap, that might not matter too much because you've just already established rapport with them. And then if they land on your website, they've never spoken to you, it's just like a random interaction because they were looking for a personal trainer, your website looks like crap, but you've got this massive list of before and after pictures that just can't deny how competent you are, and you can get away with it. So it's kind of like the 4 C's again. Like if you're really, really competent, if you can show you're really convenient, if you can show the pricing, because that is quite important. I know everyone has the should you show your prices debate, and user experience research seems to show points to yes, show it. And if you genuinely can't show it, you show a from price. So like, or a price range. And then obviously character as well at the same time. So if, it depends on how people find your website and at what stage of the buyer journey you're in and how much rapport you've already established with the business, but it's kind of like a sliding scale. So if you get a lot of cold website visitors, and most people do in general, because brochure websites are kind of like your storefront, which is where cold visitors come in, then your website needs to look reasonably okay. So that doesn't mean you need to go hire a designer. It means that if you design the website yourself, stick to the templates, don't deviate too much because it'll keep it looking mostly professional. And then when you do have the time and you've done the things that you love a lot and you're making money from that, then maybe delegate out and improve on things.
Cool. So if, let's say it's in the early days there, and they haven't really got the money yet to bring a designer in to build the site, what would be your kind of top 3 pieces of design advice or advice you would give them if someone's going to build their own website? I'm guessing one of them would be what you mentioned there, trying to stick to the templates, but would there be anything else?
Yeah, I mean, if you really struggle with tech, don't just don't do it. Yeah, I'm not saying like don't do it because you should come and hire me. I'm saying you just don't need a website yet. So like it's back to what we're talking about before. Like you do the things that you love until you have enough money to outsource the rest. So and if tech and websites and design is something that you're just really not good at, that's totally fine. Like some people aren't. Like hopefully you're a really great trainer. If you focus on that and you focus on word of mouth, for example, you'll get exactly the same result. Like you absolutely do not need a website. A website is just a tool that will amplify what you're already good at, because you have the greatest website in the world. If you're a crappy trainer, it just doesn't matter. Like people are just going to come and go. You're not going to build a real substantial business. But if you have the worst website in the world and nobody ever visits it, and you're a really, really good trainer and people keep referring you, you're going to build a business. Like your business is going to keep on growing because you're going to have recurring clients all the time. You're going to have word of mouth, which is pretty much the most powerful form of marketing. So that's when you build a real business. So yeah, advice one is if you're not into it, just don't do it. Like that's absolutely fine. I have to think of 3.
You don't have to. You've got 2 there. Don't like it, don't do it. If you do want to do it, stick to the template. Yeah.
So 2 is, stick to the templates. So if you're building the website yourself, stick to the templates, because the web design platform that you're using will probably have some reasonably okay ones. And just don't deviate from them too much. Once you start deviating from the templates, it starts to look like crap. So if you're not a designer, that is, some people might do a good job, but it tends to be like all over the place. So with the templates that have been designed, the design company, the designer platform like Squarespace, Weebly, that kind of stuff, they've already done the research. Like, they've already figured out what people want to look at, and the proof of that is that you choose one of those templates. So you choosing the templates is proof that they already know what you want to see. And what you want to see is quite close to what other people also want to see. And that kind of leads on to the third bit. And that is, it rolled on nicely as well. The third piece of advice is to build the website for your client and not for yourself. So, because it's really tempting to go, I like purple and yellow, therefore all of the people who look at my website will also like purple and yellow, but nobody likes purple and yellow. So designing it that way is going to put people off. So if you can, survey some of your clients, ask them, one of our first questionnaires for our web design stuff, because we like to build a website that the trainer actually wants to look at, is send me 2 or 3 websites that you like the look of and why. So, and that's quite important. So I like the look of this website because of this. You send that same question to a few of your clients. They don't even have to be fitness websites, but you'll get a really good feel for what people like. For example, if they're women like white space. So in all user experience research studies, women like more white space. So they like clean areas, and they like sections. So both men and women actually like sections. Men weren't so bothered about white space, that wasn't a big deal. But they like sections because sections seem to reduce cognitive load. So, like you go from the first section, which might be talking about an overview of your company, and the next section might be about your services. Well, even if one of them is just a little bit lighter grey and the other one is white, and even if they're very, very similar, but you can tell the difference between the two, that reduces cognitive load. Like, it says to the brain, I'm moving from one thing to another thing here. So like sections are really important. So there's loads of little like tidbits like that. Like user experience is quite cool because the internet's quite important nowadays. So it's quite important to know what you're talking about with user experience stuff. So that was 3, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's perfect. I'm impressed. We got all 3, which is all good. Cool. Just quick, I did get asked a question before we came on, which I suppose it's kind of what we're talking about there. Is about people that build their own websites. Obviously, you've gone for some really cool tips and advice there for when they're doing it. But you did mention a couple of platforms there, like Squarespace and Weebly. For anyone building their own site, I think I know what probably answer will be, but like, is there any kind of recommendation in terms of like what to use? Because I mean, I get asked that quite a lot, and I know it was asked before this. There are some people that sent some questions in. Have you got any preference for any recommendations, or is it more just pick one and get on with it?
Yeah, well, it is kind of like a case of that, but also try and pick one that matches your level of technical expertise. So everyone says you need to get a WordPress website because you're going to own it. So that drives me nuts. I posted about this maybe yesterday. Like,
I think I read that.
Like, ever. You just don't own a website. It doesn't matter if you build it on WordPress or anything else. You don't own a website. The only way you can ever own a website is if you write your own website designer platform code. Because if it's built on WordPress, Weebly, Squarespace, Wix, they own the code for that. You have to write the code for your own theme. Then you also have to buy a server, not buy a server space. You have to buy an actual server that would sit on your desk over here. You have to connect that to the internet, and then you have to upload all those files onto there, and then make sure that it's all compatible with all the latest browsers. That's how to own your own website. If you go via WordPress, you're renting their code. If you're hosting with, say, HostGator, then you're renting server space. If you use a theme, you're borrowing theme code from someone. Even if you buy that theme, you're still borrowing the theme code that only works on one of the platforms in the first place. So you never own a website, you're just renting it all the time. It's also a really good metaphor for life as well. Like, that's the way life is. Build all the houses, you do all the great things. You never really own it, do you? Because once you're once you've
Once
kaput,
you've got it.
that's taken to the grave. Yeah. So everything that you're trying to do, whether it's offline or online, you're trying to build something of substance and value to other people, and then maybe if you're lucky, the next generation will be able to use it because it was good enough. So that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
I like that. I like that as a life metaphor.
yeah, and also you can kind of relax a little bit, because I get that a lot out here, being in Thailand, because Thailand has some really good rules for people owning land and houses out here. So foreigners, because obviously foreigners tend to have a lot more money than Thai people, aren't allowed to own land. So we're not allowed to own any land. We can own a house, and we can also own any second floor or above condominium. So you can own those things, provided that less than 50% of the people in the condominium aren't Westerners. So 50% or above have to be Thai people. So like they're really keen on keeping hold of that stuff. And people, especially when I was building this house, you get people saying, "Oh, you can't own it." I'm like, well, you can't own it anyway. Like, what do you own? Like, you don't own anything. So like it's all goes. Like, I've got 2 kids here, and even if my wife and I, like, God forbid, I don't think that's going to happen. Even if we split up, those 2 kids are still her 2 kids. They're still my 2 kids, and we're still going to take care of them. And this house was just another way to do that. So like, I don't want half of the house when we go. Like, I've built something so I can take care of myself and take care of them. That's my job. Like, I do that whether we're married or not. So that's what you do when you make babies.
Yeah, kind of comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, and it's exactly the same with online stuff. You build something that's of substance. You build something that's of value to other people, and hopefully it's so valuable that the next generations can also use it.
That's cool. I can't remember. I completely got off now. So that was it. Website platforms. I love how it kind of got from website platforms to like meaning of life. Talk about a tangent.
Yeah. So, well, I'll give you a quick overview of the platform. So WordPress is really good if you're techie and you love all like the plugins and stuff like that. Squarespace if you like minimal, because they've got a lot of minimal designs on there. Wix if you're a really good designer, because Wix have this weird drag and drop editor where you can kind of place anything anywhere on the website for a lot of their themes, so it doesn't always like lock into place. And then Weebly is kind of like a mishmash of all 3. So it's not got loads of themes, but if you know a bit of coding and know a bit of CSS and you're good with design, you can create something that's really nice. So that's kind of like a general overview.
Cool. Oh, that'd be really useful. Really useful. People are asking that. Awesome. Also, I'm quite conscious of the time. I don't want to keep you forever. We've gone over a little bit. Not that it matters too much. Yeah. So, like, we've talked quite a bit about stuff. We've talked about my PT website, and we've talked about kind of the IPT, and a lot about SEO and a lot about design. So, if somebody was wanting some help with their website, where would they get? What's the best next step to take if they wanted to bring you on to help you with the SEO or the
from me?
For you, yeah.
From me, mypersonaltrainerwebsite.com.
Cool.
So yeah, just go and check it out. I won't hard to tell you anything. So if it's a good fit, I mean, we offer, our service is a little bit different. So we offer a managed website service. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to do exactly what we talked about earlier, which is if it's something that you don't enjoy, you outsource it. So all of our ideal clients are people who they're at the stage of business where they have enough disposable income to be able to outsource a lot of the crappy website stuff. So that includes the actual design of the website, the hosting, the maintenance, unlimited revisions, unlimited support, which kind of ends up sometimes being conversations like this. And then all the technical updates. So we basically manage everything for you. So you don't have to touch your website should you not want to. If you want something changed, you just send an email over and we do it all for you. So obviously that comes with a fee, and it's not crazy, it's $75. So $75 a month, which isn't like a crazy fee or anything like that. Very, very manageable. Cost of living out here is very low, which makes it more manageable. Also, the fact that I get all of my leads from SEO, and I don't have to pay for Facebook ads, and I'm not doing any like outbound marketing, which is more expensive. So all of that kind of stuff keeps the cost of everything down, and which I kind of like, making the business a little bit more accessible. And then, thanks, Tim. Yeah. And then Tim said nice, but
cheers, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, you can go there if that's something that you're looking for, like for someone to basically just manage it all for you, and then for you to just send emails if you want to like bounce off ideas, or I want to change this, and then on the flip side of that, it kind of makes us not for everybody, because if you've got this, like we just had a client left us, Michael was a really great guy, and he kind of wanted to just go his own way. So he wanted to work with my personal trainer website by association, I think. So because he was mentoring someone, and they said to come to us. So we built him all a nice website and stuff. But he's like he's quite creative, and he's got his own way of doing things. So it was like, can I get access to this, and this? So we gave him access to all the pages. Went back a week later, and he just like changed everything. So like, oh crap! Like all this has changed, but it had changed so much that a lot of the user experience stuff that's quite important in order, the 4 C's. All those 4 C's were kind of no longer in place, and they're no longer easy to find. So sent an email saying like, we can fix it for you, but I mean, if you want a website like this, then we're probably not the best company for you. So like this, like you could save the money, because this whole time we could have done all of these changes, discussed all of these changes with you, done all of the revisions for you, but you chose to go and like do all of these things on your own, which is absolutely fine if that's the way you want to do things. But you're wasting your money.
Yeah, that's the to pay us.
Yeah, you wasted like you've been messing around with these things for 2 months. That's $75 times 2. That's $150. Like you could have spent that money on something else. So he moved his website over to another platform, copied all the content that we made for him over. So like, because we write all your website copy and stuff, and now he's fine. He's doing the same thing. He's doing his own hosting and support and whatnot, but he's not paying us $75 a month. And then our name, if you like, isn't attached to a website that isn't going to work within our system. Yeah, it might work. I don't know if it's going to work for him. It might do. It's just that all of the research that we've done suggests that it might not.
Yeah. Oh, well. Cool.
I don't want to say whether it will or it won't, because it's like all of his leads might be like through conversations that is on Facebook, and if that's the case, then it would genuinely work, because he's already established all of this rapport. Yeah. He's a good trainer. Like, I follow him on Facebook, and he's definitely like in the right direction. So it might all work, but for cold leads and for what we do, like, just not a good fit. So same as every trainer, same as every company. Sometimes it's perfect and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just you have to be the right fit. You have to get on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and that's okay too. So I think that's quite important for a lot of people to know, because I think everyone kind of thinks, like, if you don't get on with someone or you don't work well with someone, like it's somehow your fault, and it's just not. Like, sometimes it's just not a good fit for your business, and the energy that you invest, even the emotional energy, which is important, that you invest into trying to fix these problems, could be used elsewhere. So it's okay to say, sorry, dude, we're just not right. So, and that's okay.
Cool. Awesome. So, like, one more thing I do want to quickly cover as well, because I know a lot of people will be thinking about it. We talked a lot about the IPT as well, Institute of Personal Trainers. Where can people find out more about that? What's the address, and where can they go for that?
instituteofpersonaltrainers.com. Also, obviously SEO. Google anything to do with personal training businesses, personal trainer business plan, all that kind of stuff, and it'll pop up on the first page.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Says a lot about your SEO skills. Says a lot about your SEO skills when it pops up on the first page every time.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy the SEO, so it works for me. It's the sales free marketing.
Yeah. Cool. What I'll do is I'll put the links to the IPT and my PT website, my personal trainer website, sorry, in the links below, in the comments below. And if it's cool as well, I'll put in that post you did the other day about the maps, Google Maps. Do it that way. Put it on
the blog. Yeah, that's good.
Cool, awesome. I think that's about it. I think we're done. Roughly, been about an hour. Just a bit over, a bit of money, it's welcome, roughly. Awesome, happy days. I'm sure Dan's always around on the group, so I'm sure he won't mind if you've got any questions, if anyone's watching a bit later on, just to drop them in the comments, and I'm sure Dan will pop up and say hello, and hopefully try and answer if you've got anything. But again, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate you coming on and spending the time with us. Especially at night. I know it's your working time, but I appreciate your time. Really good. Yeah. Awesome. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. And cheers, guys. Thank you. We'll be back next Thursday, I think we have another interview on, but I'll put a post to the group and let you know more about that a bit later on. And I'll speak to you all soon. Cheers. Bye.